red, blue, purple light, friends. Red, blue, purple light, friends. Flags, red, blue, purple light, friends. Red and blue, purple light, friends. Facts, you can get to know the ledger. Sacrilegious Sunday to Melanin Monday. You can get to know the ledger. My love, just open your third on Thursday. Lord, the food, the art, the clothes, the Vatican's getting exposed fast. We put the show on the road. You better stay on your toes. I was till the land focused on the ego. Then I open my heart, let go of the ego. Grand after grand, we're stacking up these C notes. Facts, facts, yeah, we gon' put this shit on our backs. Facts, facts, we in your city, pull up where we at. Facts, facts, peace, love and light, peace, love to the family, peace, love and light to the family, peace, love and light to the family.
These days and time, black man, is going to be the time that you have been waiting for. You came here for a reason. Whatever pressure, whatever adversity, whatever the fuck you feel, I don't know what you feel, but whatever you may be feeling is going to push you and it's going to provoke you and it's either going to make you or break you, similar to how pressure busts pipes or the shit makes diamonds.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Peace to the family. Peace to you and yours. Peace to the family. Peace to you and yours. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Sacrilegious Sundays. You are now rocking with the best. Yes, this is your host for the evening, Red Pillar. All right. Soon to be joined by Fly Sinette. You know what I'm talking about? Then after that, a little bit of Schooly Red and whatnot. But hey, how's everybody doing? You know I'm talking about? How you doing on this beautiful Sunday, October the 12th, 2025. As we strive to stay alive. But at the same time, when you look at your turkey and your jive, and you're saying nah. Hey, let's go ahead and do the roll call, see who is in the building. Shout out to everybody pulling up in the building. I don't know if the notifications are going off. Let me know if y'all got the notification or you was just scrolling on YouTube, back streets, and you happen to see the lights come on and whatnot. And I was opening up the donut shop on a late night. You know what I'm talking about? Let me know. Let me know. Let me know. I was just thinking about this earlier today. I was like, damn. When people go live at 8 o'clock, like prime time, it'd be like 5 o'clock on the West Coast. Damn, that's kind of inconvenient. But I don't know. Is it? Does that get in y'all way? Like 5 o'clock lives? You only getting the Twitch notification. Damn, look at that. They got me lit on Twitch and whatnot. If y'all not following me on Twitch, make sure that you go ahead and give me a follow on Twitch. You feel me? Make sure that you give me a follow on Twitch. You know what I mean? We do the YouTube, but Twitch is, you know what I'm saying? It's lit over there. You know, it's lit over there. We're gonna start doing some exclusive yapping live events, and we're gonna stream it through Twitch. You feel me? We're gonna stream it through the Twitch. Let me pull up the page. I believe it's Red Pillar 44. Let me pull it up. Give me 1 minute. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Hey, there we go. There we go. Popping. There we go. Let me go ahead and copy the URL. Yeah. Pull up over the Twitch, man. Yeah, pull up over the Twitch. Okay. Tell the youngins, tell the YNs, the young nobles that's in the crib, be like, yo, Schoolie Red got the Twitch popping. You know what I mean? Go over there and give them a follow. We're gonna be doing. Oh, we got. I'm not gonna share the idea. Not that I don't want to share it with y'all, but I'm not gonna throw it out there. But we have a fire Twitch broadcast that's gonna be coming up. It's gonna deal with AI. Let's just say that. Let's go ahead and let's do this roll call and then let's get busy. All right. We got a lot to talk about, as you know. North Las Vegas in the building. Shout out to North Las Vegas. I'm looking for someone in the San Fernando Valley region who's a caretaker. I think it's San Pedro. It might be San Pedro. But if there's anybody that's out there who happens to be a caretaker, I need you to reach out. I'll drop the email. It'll be on the ticker. Okay. Hit me right there on the ticker. Okay. At the Mark 125th. Let's go ahead. Blue Pill killed it. Yeah. Shout out to Blue Pillar. You feel me? Blue Pill told me to tell y'all that he got a makeover for the More Fire Fridays on the way. He's gonna he has a do-over with him in Spence City. They were having some technical difficulties and whatnot. Might not have known where the buttons is at. You know what I mean? I don't know if you don't know where the buttons is at. Yeah, you know.
To this day.
But yeah, he'll be back. And he did Mineral Ministries, this rosin. I don't know if y'all even familiar with Mineral Ministries and whatnot, but Blue is doing his thing. He might be on like the consistency. He might be on week like 150. He's been going strong, and the sermons are classics. Every single one of them. I'm talking about the sermons it make me want to get religious, and it's not religious, but he's showing you the magic of the Helios Biblios and whatnot, breaking it down. It's metaphysics on the highest level. Yeah, Pope Pablo. Maryland in the building, Maryland in the building. You know, it's good to have the late night sessions so my kids could be fed by my children first. Yeah. Arizona by way of Virginia. Okay, we got Phoenix in the building. All right, we got San Jose in the building. I need a fit check. You said the shirt is fire. Yeah. We got to bring the TikTok shop shit over here. You know I'm talking about? Check it out. Yeah, you know, these are my go-tos right here. These are my go-to pants right here. You feel me? These are the go-tos. You know, with the Kobe's and whatnot. Got the Cobes on. Yeah, but we got to bring the TikTok shop over here because there'd be a lot of drip. And it's a lot of drip for sale. And y'all deserve to get it the way that everybody else is getting it around the world. I know some TikTok shop millionaires. That shit is kind of lit right now. You feel me? So we gonna bring the drip report. We're gonna bring the Mark 125th. We're gonna bring the drip report back to the web. Connecticut in the building. Arizona's in the building. Naptown is in the building. Chicago's in the building. New Orleans is in the building. I have a special announcement that I want to make. The New Orleans date that we have coming up has been postponed The New Orleans date that we have coming up has been postponed. There's nothing wrong on anybody's side. It's just one of the speakers have gotten very busy, and I don't want to throw nobody's name out there, but there was a little bit of double booking, but it's been a postponement. Shout out to Mama Pill. Shout out to Blue Pillar. Shout out to Brother Heru. I just was with Brother Heru yesterday. He was in Atlanta. He packed out a venue in East Point, and the man brought 4 different testimonies on stage with him. He brought not receipts, he brought witnesses. That's the best thing that you could ever do if you're into healing these days. I think that should be a requirement. As a matter of fact, that shouldn't even be the exception. That should be the rule. Amen. Amen. Because you don't know who's who. You don't know who's really telling the truth about what they can do, or how consistently they can do that. Because you could do one thing and might not be able to do another thing. The brother brought 4 they were elders, right? Which makes it even more of a fire. It makes it even more of a priceless. It makes it even more of a wealthy situation and whatnot. This is true wealth. Yeah, we like to count, we like to run it up and whatnot. We like to count it up, but the true wealth, I feel, is just sitting there knowing that you're saving lives and whatnot, that you're reversing people from quote unquote hospice, you're reversing people from stage 4 and whatnot. That's the real wealth right there. I met a brother at the lecture yesterday. He's a KTLian. As a matter of fact, he's a rainbow opal. What does that mean? That means that he is the top of the Patreon tier. He is the top tier rainbow opal, right? $99 a month. He was there with his mother and his wife. He said that he heard about Brother Heru through this channel, and he's able to save the life of his loved ones with this quote unquote alternative healing protocols, which involves olive leaf extract along with other remedies and protocols. I will have Brother Heru back on the show. We're going to still have the conversation about health and wealth. We will be doing something very, very soon with the God Body. We will be doing something very, very soon with Mama Pill. We will be doing something very, very soon with the New Orleans family. Look out for the new date. We're going to put it out there. All right. As a matter of fact, damn near every single event that I had planned for the month of October has been postponed. And I will say why it has been postponed, because I have a very important workshop coming up November 1st and November 2nd. I have a very, very, very instrumental workshop coming up on November 1st and November 2nd. Already 500 plus tickets sold. These people in this community, in the world for that matter, they deserve the best of me. They deserve the most focused version of me. They deserve me to be laser focused. They deserve me to be quote unquote on top of things. And one thing that I do know, sometimes you could stack the deck a little bit too far. I had 4 events planned for the month of October. It's supposed to be Red October. However, November's coming up. Very, very big event on November 1st and the 2nd. Then my birthday is on the 14th, which happens to be my 50th. And then we have other birthdays in November and other events. And then it's December. So I'm stacking my deck a little bit differently, right? And I'm not going to put all of my business and all of my plans out there, but there is going to be a quote unquote consolidation of time, and I'm going into my rabbit hole, and I'm going to quote unquote getting my bag so I could deliver the best classic possible, right? And then I'll be back outside. So everything that's being postponed will be dealt with after I deal with my workshop. And I hope that everyone can understand that. and I hope that that will be respected. We will continue to put out. We have a Patreon that we're going to be doing for the month with our good brother Hit Sayu. We also have a lecture. We have a 4-part series with my good brother Giant and our good brother H Factor. That's still going down, okay, for the record. Those are going down for the record. And we might hit your ass with a lecture by the end of the month, too. You know what I'm talking about? And what else is coming up is the American Gods epilogue, which I tried to upload and YouTube. They didn't even let it get up there. They before it got uploaded, they was like hell to the nah. They put a complete skirt. So we're trying to figure out right now how we're gonna premiere uh American Gods Meta Yahoo, which is the epilogue to American Gods 10 MagaFest Destiny 2.0 that we just did a few weeks ago. All right. So we got New Bedford, Massachusetts in the building. We got Maryland in the building. We got St. Petersburg, Moreno Valley in the building, North Carolina in the building. We got Akron, Ohio, Houston in the building. You know what I'm talking about? Houston in the building. All right. So Blue put on a fire one. Beautiful. I'm gonna go check that out. Flint, Michigan in the building. Shout out to Flint. So yeah. Yours is the 15th. Salute. All right, salute. Everybody whose B-day is coming up. Everybody's whose born day is coming up. Everyone who has that anniversary this on their heels and whatnot. Yeah, get focused. I remember King Simon was pushing the envelope about how important it is to have your head on swivel and how to be super laser leading up to your born day. There's a lot of things that I need to accomplish before November the 14th, man. Let me tell you. But one thing that I can say, and one thing that I do want to acknowledge, and one thing that I could say in public, right? And people would understand fully what I mean, is that years ago, and maybe 2 years ago, 3, 4, if you go back and listen to my archives and tap into like older Melanin Mondays, older Third Eye Thursdays, or earlier Third Eye Thursdays, earlier Melanin Mondays, there was a lot of emphasis that I was putting on about turning my artwork into something. There were episodes that I spent where I was going through these artbooks, right? And I was just like, I was appealing to people like, yo, I'm an artist, right? Like I'm a trained artist. From when I was this is from my this is I was doing this all the way back in the days, like before some people that's watching this was even born, like 1990. This is from like 91. This is an original piece. This right here is an original flyer, a very famous flyer that I had. I did it for a party in Flatbush and whatnot. It was a polo party where we was telling everybody to wear their polo, and then people was getting let's just say that they were getting there was a coat check, but that coat check was checking coats and wasn't giving them back and whatnot. But art is one of my this is where it all began, and this is where it all ends, right? My real passion, my true love. You feel me? My true love, my real passion, right? That anybody that knows me in blue, before there was a red and blue, before there was a twin, and all of that shit, it was the art. You know what I mean? The art was my work. I was in a fantasy based off of being able to pick up a marker and pick up a pen, right? Pick up a marker. I used to have design markers and whatnot. And literally, there would be a lot of activity outside my window. grew up in the Flatbush in the 90s. So there was a lot of drug wars going on late at night. We would hear a lot of gunshots. There was a lot. There was almost like a symphony of gunshots. It would sound like fireworks. And me and Blue, we would go and read our comic books, or we would take the comic strip and we would create these worlds where we would turn white characters black, and we would get our because at that time our father had us watching Eyes on the Prize. You know what I mean? Like we were like woke. We were considered woke. We were like TikTok woke back then, right? So the frustrations that we had against society based off of being behind enemy lines and whatnot, and being a young black man growing up listening to Scarface for the first time, listening to Beanie Siegel for the first time, listening to KRS-One, listening to Ice Cube. You feel me? It just made us like very militant and whatnot. You know what I'm talking about? It made us very militant minded, and we would take our frustrations, or this was our therapy. The artwork was my therapy. Not only was it my therapy, it was part of my identity. Okay. But now this is Blue drew this. Not only was it a part of our identity, but it was a part of this is my childhood. Like this literally, I'm giving you this, these pictures are pieces. This is my DNA. So I am elated by the latest progressions in technology. I am smitten by the access that we have to take this artwork, right? Because all this right here, all of this is just, now I'm able to feed the AI. This is just the feed it. This is the data that I'm feeding it when I'm training it, right? I'm going to be able to train it to do movies in this art style based off of my ideas. Like, do you know what that means for my brain? Like, do you know what that means for my for the child in me, for the childhood Filthmore or Twin, whatever my name was? This is going to be, or this is how this is not going to be. It already has been life changing. Okay. So yeah, they can't about this is my proof. When anybody tries to say, I was crazy when I was a kid. You know what I mean? I was crazy when I needed medicine when I was young. You know what I'm talking about? Don't judge me at this age. They out here trying to put jackets on people. But the possibilities of what I could do right now with this technology is fucking crazy. So this workshop means a lot to me. Having the opportunity to do this thing in front of the people. Look at Blue Pill's drawings. Like, I'm not using the AI to replace the artwork. I'm using the AI to bring the artwork to life. You know what I'm saying? I'm using AI as another layer to give the artwork some motion. You know what I mean? Like, no, we're gonna bring this to life. These are static images, and you could make this shit move. Like, imagine if I had AI 20 years ago, 30 years ago. Are you crazy? Do you know where I would be? I would be in my own world. I will be in my own world, because you create the art is where you could create your own world. People in Hollywood are considered to be artists and whatnot. Even a person who's a script writer, they are considered to be they are part of the arts and the science academy. They're in the Academy of Arts and Sciences. Those are artists, ladies and gentlemen. The majority of those people have sketchbooks just like this, and this is just one sketchbook of many. Um, but the artist in me knows what to do with the tools that are arriving. Everyone can't say that because everyone is not, they're not prepped the same, they're not groomed the same, they haven't been classically trained the same. I trained myself from drawing over comics and taking comics and basically remixing them to make the comic book look like me, look like my friends, look like the rap artists that I grew up looking up to. Ironically enough, right? The way that the world look how the great divine speaks through signs, or rather look at the impact of how we start things from the underground and it works its way up. Marvel Comics, a multi-billion-dollar corporation, right? That's owned by Disney. They just now in 2025, when hip hop is past 50 years old, they just now did a collaboration with Nas, with Nasir Jones and Mass Appeal, and they have a series where they have Ghostface Killer. They made a comic book of hip hop artists right after we did the fantasy complex industry, where we were sharing and we were showing and we were demonstrating to the students that the time is now to take your life, your brand, your likeness, your quote unquote experiences, memories, imagination, right? And turn it into these industries, right? And in the fantasy complex industry, we focus on the five pillars of the fantasy complex industry is the comic book industry, right? And while I'm speaking on these industries, if there's anybody in the chat that wants to do some real-time journalism or some real-time fact checking, please go and pull up the AI, preferably Chat GPT or Perplexity, and give me the what is the comic book industry's quote unquote collective worth. What are they worth? What is it worth as an industry right now? If you could go and pull that up, right? Because we want a piece of that pie, right? We don't want a piece of we don't want the crumbs on nobody's table. We don't want nobody to make a seat for us at the table. We don't want to get an invite to come and hang out at the table. Yeah, you could sit over there, but make sure you make some comic books for us. Make sure you make some characters for us. Make sure your ass is working while you're sitting at that table, and we'll give you a few crumbs off of what it is that we cook up over here. No, not that. No, building your own table where you bring your own fantasy, you bring your own imagination, you bring your own heroes, you bring your own folklore, you bring your own propriety, and you build your own shit. So whatever the comic book industry is worth now, we're gonna double that. You know what I mean? Because we read comics, our children read comics. There are children around the world, and there's gonna be children that are not even born that are gonna read our stories. So it's 17 billion. Okay, 17 billion. I appreciate your consistency throughout the years. And this is in no way means for me to sit up here and start tooting one's horn. However, I encourage you, if you're tapped into me and my message and what I stand for, I need you to do the research and go in a deep dive, go into the archives, go into the search engine while it's still there and go red pill 2016, red pill 2015, red pill technology, red pill, the evolution will be digitized, red pill speaks on artificial intelligence, red pill speaks on the digital economy, red pill. Put that in the search and see what comes up and watch those videos and see how consistent the message is, to the point where you'll think that I speak this shit into existence. Just go and do the research. Just go and do the research, because it's there. There's some videos that I'm stumbling across and I'm blown away like, God damn, wait, what year was that? What the hell? What were you smoking, sir? What were you smoking, sir? Because whatever it was, shit had you tapped in light years ahead. You know what I'm talking about? Whatever that is, bag it up and resell it. But it's there. The proof is in the work. It's called proof of work. So to live in the time that was being spoken of passionately on 125th Street, because that's when I started having the visions of the future. That's when I started seeing the technology and the technology, and that's when I started to see that the evolution will be digitized. That's when I started to see the role that Bitcoin was going to play, the blockchain was going to play. That's when it started to all make sense. You feel me? Everything started to all make sense. This is around 2014, 2015. And here we are, 10 years later. Yeah. 24. Yeah. So we don't have nothing to worry about. We don't have nothing to complain about. We really don't have nothing to wait for. We don't have anything to quote unquote fear. We don't have anything to lambasted about. We don't have any burdens. We don't have anything to regret. We don't have no regrets. And when I say we, I'm speaking about the whole community. I'm talking about I'm speaking for the whole. I'm speaking for the whole and the individual at the same time. Because check this out. Like it's being said right here, what a journey has been. The journey has not taken anything away from anyone who was on it. To be honest with you, when you really think about it, the journey has not stolen from anybody who has truly been on it. Because if you've been on the journey, the only thing the journey has been given is lessons. But it's the yellow brick road, though. That journey gives lessons and blessings. You feel me? That journey gives lessons and blessings. The only thing that the journey has been given is a bunch of lessons, L's nonetheless. But they've been lessons and they've been blessings. And if you stay on the journey and if you stay consistent to what you signed up for, and if you mind the business that pays you, and if you work on the thing, if you work on what's the most important quote unquote topic, or what's the most important subject, or what's the most important hot button topic, or what's the most important breaking news, or what's the most important quote unquote subject, and that's you. It all breaks down to you at the end of the day. As long as you're working on you, as long as you're building up you, as long as you understand that this all comes back to you, you could venture forth, but you always make sure that you come home. Come back home, come back to what matters the most, and that's working on you, building you up, creating a universe, creating a reality that you have decreed that you are going to quote unquote manifest, and then living into and walking into that existence. But prior to walking into that existence, you got to be able to walk the walk. And what's the walk? The walk is the program. And what's the program? The program is the code. And what's the code? The code is what you say it is. But there's a universal code, though. Can't just make up your own code. You see that code in the background, this falling as I'm speaking and whatnot. That code is a universal code. And many of us, we know that there are universal codes, that it doesn't matter what religion we call ourselves. It don't matter. You could dress that shit up all you want. There's a universal code that we all follow. And what is that? There are many. But one of them is that the universe is going to respond, and the universe is going to adhere to a disciplined quote unquote servant. Somebody who is of service. Okay. Not somebody that's coming to take, not somebody that's coming with closed hands and whatnot, not somebody that just wants to know what can you do for me. No, that's not what the universe is responding to. You know, the universe is going to respond to your consistency. The universe is going to respond to those who are passionate and those who are enthusiastic. The universe is going to respond to the one who's willing to put in the work way before the one who's willing to sit around and wait for something to happen. That's what the universe will do. The universe will bend to the will of the motherfucker who's ready to bend the spoon before the person who's sitting around scared to even come outside, right? Who's sitting around tucked away and whatnot. And, you know, that's not who the universe responds to. And there's so much more that could be said on that topic. And there's so much more that could be said about what the universe is fucking with versus what it's not fucking with. And there's so much to be said about the code, and there's so much to be said about this quote unquote decree and this covenant and the word and the law. It's called the law. So we don't break laws and expect for things to go good in life. And niggas is out here breaking all type of spiritual laws every day. And I'm not exempt either. I'm not sitting up here like I'm sprinkling pixie dust on you niggas holier than thou. You know, it is a daily sentence. You know what I mean? Niggas is doing the day by day. You know what I mean? This could be a bid until you make it paradise. But he who conquers the war of the mind is going to be the quote unquote winner when it's all said and done, right? He who can conquer the ultimate battlefield, and that is the ultimate battlefield. You could win many wars and lose the battle and whatnot. But if you win the battle of the mind, if you can tame the emotions, right? If you can quote unquote tame the beast, right? If you can tame the beast, if you can master self, if you could stand on your word, right? If you could maintain integrity through it all, then you're gonna be able, you're gonna have a rainbow at the end of the tunnel. The shit could be dark and whatnot, but fuck it, let it be. Nigga, you signed up for this. This is a journey that's going to turn men into immortals, mortals, and you put your name, you know, you affirm to the universe what your new attribute is. You step into that new attribute, you step into that quote unquote godlike version of self. You step into that higher version of self. You step into those quote unquote into that new identity. And then you become that. And chances are that identity could lead you into immortality. So how the hell could this shit be a walk in the park? How could you figure it out with a tweet or two? You know, how could you figure it out with a 10-minute meditation? That's not how it works. Walk the walk, walk it like you talk it, stay authentic as possible, have a divine balance. It doesn't matter what it is that you do, right? Practice moderation, practice restraint, have something, have a routine and stick to it and whatnot. Let that become your anchor. Like how homie had the totem and whatnot in Inception, Leonardo, right? Have a totem. Have something that's going to anchor you. Have something that is going to be your quote unquote anchor. Some, Napoleon Hill says that every rising you should have a 30-minute non-negotiable time for self where you basically put everything into perspective. You start your day, you conquer your rising or your morning and whatnot. He also says that you should take a cold shower in order to get past that stage of pussyfooting, and also to once again conquer the mind, right? Conquer the mind. And no better way to do that than with a cold shower. Once you're able to do that and shock them, wake the mind, let the body know that this shit is not a game and whatnot, but we got this, then you'll see different results. And I'm not about to get up here and get all preachy, reachy and whatnot. But yeah, shit is real. Shit is real. And we are not going to make it to the promised land if we don't promise ourselves some type of, we don't make a commitment to ourselves, and we turn, we turn some of the shit that we do into law. We got to stand on something. And society and the culture has unfortunately programmed, and once you figure it out, you know how wicked these people are. Once you figure it out, you be like, God damn, that's how they got us. You know what I mean? They caught us because they got everybody feeling like they don't have to be disciplined. They got everybody feeling like they don't have to follow the laws. They got everybody feeling like they could figure this shit out on their own. They got everybody in this is a hyper reality that is hyper sexualized, that gives birth to hyperstitions, right? That is inundated with hyper sigils that are putting people under all type of spells and type of shit. And at the end of the day, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, when it's all said and done, people are compromising themselves, whatever that looks like. But they're compromising themselves, and they're giving up their looch. They're destiny swapping. They're selling off their spirit for a few coins. They're giving up their soul for a contract. Oh man. You might think that this is a far reach. You might think that this is something that doesn't happen all around the world. You might think to yourself, well, God damn it. If it does happen all around the world, how does it happen all around the world? Why is that? Like, why is this why is this showing up? Why is this type of dog eat dog mentality? The haves and the have not mentality, poverty minded mentality. Where is it coming from? Well, let's check this out. Let's get to the first video of the night and whatnot. The sister is very consistent. She's been dropping bombs after bombs after bombs after bombs. So this is her latest entry and whatnot on Sacrilegious Sunday. So let's go and let's find out about the IMF. Let's find out about the World Bank. Let's find out about the economic hitmen. Okay.
80s and 90s, they weren't life. They called it restructuring. But the IMF and World Bank's programs in the 80s and 90s, they weren't lifelines. They were handcuffs, permanent debt disguised as development. So let's start with what this all is. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, and the World Bank, both run by US and European powers, offered loans to countries drowning in debt during the 1980s crisis. But there was a catch. There always is. You only got the money if you signed on to the structural adjustment programs, or SAPs. On paper, they promised economic stability. In reality, they stripped countries' control over their own economies. Governments had to cut public spending, privatize state-owned industries, end subsidies on food and fuel, and open their markets to foreign companies. Translation: schools gutted, hospitals collapsed, public jobs erased, and corporations swooped in to buy everything cheap. Take Jamaica in the 1980s. Prime Minister Michael Manley resisted, but debt forced his hand. IMF reforms meant U.S. imports flooded the island. Local farmers and dairies couldn't compete. And the result? Jamaica went from feeding itself to depending on American canned goods and powdered milk. Zambia had to privatize its copper mines. And who profited? Foreign investors, of course. Who lost? The Zambian people. Poverty spiked, schools fell apart. Healthcare collapsed. Mexico in 1994. After years of SAP-style reforms, the peso collapsed. The U.S. bailed out Wall Street investors, but Mexican workers were left jobless and broke. This wasn't random. Ghana, Nigeria, Bolivia, Peru, Kenya. Same formula, same results. Cut, privatize, depend. And this wasn't just some faceless bureaucracy. This was political. U.S. President Ronald Reagan and UK Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher, the architects of neoliberalism, demanded that the IMF and World Bank export their free market playbook worldwide. It was the 80s version of colonization. Less gunboats, more contracts. The WTO, the World Trade Organization, and trade deals like NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement, were built on the same SAP principles. Open your markets, let U.S. corporations in, and kill protections for your people. And the cruelest piece? SAPs forced countries to grow cash crops, coffee, cocoa, sugar, all for export, while abandoning food security. So when global prices tanked, people starved. Imagine watching your land produce mountains of coffee beans, all for export, while your family can't even afford bread. That was the reality. SAPs weren't about saving economies. They were about making sure that the global South stayed in permanent dependency, funneled into serving Western markets. Debt became the leash. So when people sneer and just say that those countries are corrupt, remember this. Their economies were re-engineered deliberately by the IMF, the World Bank, Reagan, and Thatcher. Not broken by accident, broken on purpose.
How many people saw the documentary Confessions of an Economic Hitman? Confessions of an Economic Hitman. So the global South is on the rise now. The global South is on the rise now, right? The things that have been done through the IMF is beginning to somewhat reverse the rise of BRICS, right? The global South is on the rise now. And these Western countries or these Western corporations or these Western entities, they don't have the same type of appeal that they've had before. But let us continue, and we're going to let other people speak for us and tell the news, right? Because this is our, we're the observers, right? We are the reporters. We are allowing the other citizens and whatnot, the journalists that are out here making news, teach us and tell us what's going on. So let's go.
Now to announce a partnership with the World Economic Forum to create a curriculum that will lead to good jobs and solid careers.
Open your eyes.
So keep in mind, these are the same people that are tied in with the IMF, This is the World Economic Forum, right? They are creating curriculums for the children to become what? Huh? Farmers? Are these curriculums going to help them become billionaires? Are these curriculums going to be help them become what? They are going to tweak the quote unquote curriculum that had the children become quote unquote worker bees inside of Fortune 500 companies. And the new curriculum will basically teach them how to be dependents and, you know, how to live underneath a universal basic income. So we have to aggressively step in as parents and disrupt all of the plans that they have for the born and the unborn, the known and the unknown, okay? The woke and the unwoke. Because the star seeds should not be walked into any traps in 2025. We should not be walking them into any traps in 2025, bro. That's not what should be happening. We can't fix what happened before, but we damn sure could we could steer the ship right now. So we seen the play and we know that this is about to ramp up and this is about to turn up. They're dismantling the education system. They have their claws and they have their fangs all in the quote unquote education system of these children. However, we also know that we live in a day and time where education, the opportunity and the chance to teach children in the from 1 years old or from one all the way up, the opportunity to upgrade their education and teach them financial literacy, health and wellness, foraging, engineering, STEM, right? All of these things, musical theory, all of these things are here. We can do all of this right now with multiple curriculums, even with the tools that are available for free. So, with one hand doing what they're doing, we got to focus on the other hand. Instead of, you know, we're not going to give energy to that other hand. We'll acknowledge what they're doing on that side or what they're attempting, but we got to go harder than how they go. They are consistent with their fuckery, and we're not consistent with our luxury. They are persistent with their reptilian ways, and we have to be even more persistent in our quote unquote godlike ways, our angelical ways. We have to be more persistent in our quote unquote our parental aboriginal indigenous ways. You don't gotta grow wings, my nigga. Just be a healthy civilization. Bring the village back, you know? Bring it back. That's all. We got to be persistent with it though. We can't say we can't sign up and then one day, you know, don't feel like we like we don't feel like pulling up. We don't feel like fulfilling our contracts. And you know, I don't got to be up here preaching. You know that this shit is a persistent epidemic amongst the people. You know, and the people are the humans. So the humans ain't humaning. The humans are not they're not following consistency anymore. They're not being persistent. You know, the crackheads are persistent and they consistent. They are consistent with the fact that they're gonna smoke, and they are persistent in their quest to get anything that they need in order to get high. Whatever could help them get that rock, right? And I'm only using that as a gross example, but we need to have those type of examples on the highest of the highest levels. I can identify it at the lowest of rungs. Where is it at the top though? I see the consistency and the persistency in the crackheads in the crack era. Where is it at the top? I'm not saying that it don't exist, but I need help finding it. That's why the AI is a saving grace. That's why AI is the greatest disruptor of this millennium. That's why AI has the potential to break so many people out of jail like they came and broke Asada out of jail. Why do I say that? Because you could program it to do what? To be consistent and persistent. You don't have to depend on human beings anymore. You got automation that is persistent and that is consistency. That's one of the formulas that the universe recognizes. Forget about man. We're talking about law. We're talking about universe. We're talking about universal principles. And you don't have to believe me. You really don't. You do not have to believe me. Do not take my word for anything that I'm saying. I don't know a thing, y'all. I promise you. I know nothing. I know nothing. Go and look it up. You know what I'm talking about? Go and look it up. Go and look it up. Go and make me look crazy. Just be like, yeah, this nigga's talking out the side of his neck. Go to the AI or the Googles and go and look up persistency and persistent and consistency and check it out. Do your deep dive. But with automation and with agents, the fact that you now can have 100 to 1,000, you can have 1, you can have 10, you can have 100, you can have 1,000, you can have 100,000 agents working for your cause with no human intervention whatsoever. The only humans that they need is somebody to look over the transactions of the agents or the workflows or the automation workflows or whatever that is. But no more humans. And that's just how it's going to have to be until shit works itself out. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm not going to put my future in the hands of a human being when humans have some type of, not, and please don't let's not get it messed up. I'm not giving up on humans. I'm not turning my back on humans. I am doing a new experiment. Okay. I'm going to do a new experiment where I'm going to utilize artificial intelligence to do what a human being has not been able to do consistently and persistently. You understand? Everything else is good, but when it comes to the labor, when it comes to computing, when it comes to arranging, when it comes to scheduling, you could be working with somebody and everything is going great. Then y'all have a little argument or y'all have a little spat or y'all have a misunderstanding. And now the work that was getting done ain't getting done no more. You feel me? Motherfucker pump brakes on you or they do it half-ass or no. We're not going through that. We're going to fix that. That's an error in the program. You know what I'm talking about? That's an error called self-sabotage, called sabotage, called nigga shits. And it's been sinking all type of ships ever since the days of Garvey and before. Okay? Nigganomics. All of that shit. So it's time to utilize the machines. I'm talking about? It's time to go to the code. If niggas don't want to stay on code, then we'll keep the computers on code. And we'll get back to you. We'll reconvene when the time is right. But the time ain't right now. You know, niggas was out here crying about Mr. Charlie. I need automated security. I can't trust these niggas. They might be evangelicals and whatnot, trying to be my security. And here I'm talking about. I might be with one of these shorties, and she got a soft spot for Snow Kings that look like Charlie Kirk. Nah, fam. I need automated security now. You know there's autonomous weaponry to protect you now. You know, there's autonomous weaponry. Yeah, I need drones and shit. You know what I'm talking about? I need drones to follow me. I don't need a bodyguard. I need a predator drone. I need a robot, nigga. You know what I'm talking about? These humans are not to be trusted. They got too many weak spots. You know? Nigga might be a Mormon, or he might be a closeted alt-righter. He might be a you know what I'm talking about? He might be a down low MAGA. I seen it with a 20M Zenith. That's the day that's the day that broke my heart, because that was the day I had to divorce humans. That was the day. You know what I mean? Right before 9/11, my nigga. That was the day I had to make the great divorce. I filed for custody, but I gave him my papers. I seen grown men with sideburns and James Harden beards crying for Mr. Charlie, and had the nerve to compare him to the good doctor. Yes, the good doctor. Do you notice somebody urinated on MLK's internal flame in Atlanta? Well, how about them Atlanta niggas? Atlanta's. Do you notice somebody urinated on the internal flame? Go and look it up. You know, I'm not making these things up, man. I wish I was. You know what I'm saying? That's part of the spell. Damn near, look, it's been 30 days. I should have did a show on the 10th. The 10th was lit. 10 was lit. I was supposed to do the anniversary for Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah, but it was some technical difficulties, and I had something really planned for y'all. Tomorrow's Columbus Day, so they might get me outside and whatnot in my bag. I might do something special for Columbus Day, because we have to burn down Babylon. You know what I'm talking about? We have to burn down Babylon. But look out for that, because Meta Yahoo, we gotta pop that off. That's ready to go. That is ready to go. Let's get a word from our sponsors and we be right back. Because we just hit the 1 hour mark. Word from our sponsors, ladies and gentlemen. We be right back.
Trumpet sounds of golden arch. I saw in Zion these crystal balls of lightning, thundering different sound,
At Infinite Treasures, we get visions of angels. They communicate through angles and geometry, manifesting, impacting the material realm, space and time as we know it. What do angles and angels have in common? Both represent law and order necessary for stability and structure. Angels relevant to all things spiritual, angles relevant to all things in the physical world. These laws and order render leverage, lightening the load one carries on the journey through life.
Don't fall in the valley of the bloodbath. Trumpet sounds of golden
Yo, that's my shit right there, man. What the hell? Make sure y'all go and support the God. He got the onks. He got the drip. You know what I'm talking about?
Trumpet sounds of golden harp. I saw in a Zion.
IDEM. Go and support the IDEM. You know what I'm talking about? Tell them the Red Pill sent you. Go and support the Mondem. You know what I mean? They putting on for the family, man. You feel me? Shout out to Infinite Treasures and whatnot. Mondem. You know? So Atlanta's on a ley line. Atlanta's on a ley line. Yeah, they tweaking. They urinated on the gods. Eternal flame, niggas is tweaking, man. That's the Charlie Kirk effect. I can't even say it on the chat. Damn. That's the CK Kirkland effect. It's been 30 days since CK Kirkland 1010 would have made it 30. I was supposed to cook. That was the anniversary for Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah. I did the first one. Let me share that. I did the first one in 2000, right? And 2016, right? 1010. This was right before Donald Trump was going to become president. One of the highlights of that lecture is that I was able to predict Trump's presidency. You know what I mean? I was able to predict Trump's presidency. They didn't know how that. They was like, how did he know? I just knew they was rooting for. I think it was Hillary who was supposed to win the first time. Was it Hillary? And I was like, nah, that ain't that. It's gonna be Trump. And this was at Nicholas, Brooklyn. I think this was the original Nicholas, if my memory serves me correct. But it could have been the new Nicholas, right? It might have been the new Nicholas. I don't know. But for the most part, this was history. This was monumental. This lecture right here goes down in New York, Brooklyn, conscious community history books. There's a lot of classic lectures out there. This was definitely one of them. Fear of a Blackamoor Messiah. I think we've done up to 9 iterations leading up to 2025. It's an ongoing organic lecture series. I have it written down. I have a few titles that have the distinguished quote unquote, they're bestowed with the distinguished title of organic lecture. All of them are not that, but I do have a cachet of organic lectures, and those are the lectures that are alive. They are alive. They're organisms. They're egregores. They are continue. They have a continuum. They have a charge. They have a knowledge base. They have a spirit attached to them, and they continue to grow. And I show up and I breathe life into them. I consecrate them. I add new information to them, new data to them, new bodies and whatnot. I put new logs on the fire. And that's how these entities are going to be built up into brands that are going to live longer than me, right? They're going to turn into whatever they're going to turn into, but they're organic living entities of information, right? When you dive into these organic titles and whatnot, or these organic libraries and whatnot, you'll begin to see like, damn, this information that the brother gave in 2016 is still relevant today. It's almost, if he gave it in 2016, if he did it right now, it wouldn't matter. It would be like he did it today. It would almost be like he did it for today. There's no time limit on timeless information. There's no time limit. The timeless information is timeless, meaning that you could drop that shit on any timeline, and it's gonna resonate. It's the truth. And the truth, you can fit the truth on any timeline. The truth is the truth, no matter where you say it or when you say it. Facts. So you could be around dinosaurs and be like, man, fuck that shit. And then you could fast forward and be on a planet with Elon Musk and a whole bunch of Republicans and wake up and be like, man, fuck that shit. It's the same thing. It ain't where you're from, it's where you're at, right? You was who you was before you got here. So this one right here, we are gonna have it's one of the things that I gotta be mindful of is that we're in a new environment where they are putting out all type of scare tactics. They're putting out all type of censorship traps. They're putting out all type of quote unquote, they're dealing with entrapment. To be honest with you, how do y'all feel about that in the audience after seeing the desperation of the administration and how these people are coming together to buy up all of these media outlets in order to censor them? Do you know how serious that is? Do you know how pivotal that is? Do you know how do you know what type of implications that carries? They can have a complete media blackout and commit a purge. They can have a complete media blackout and really black out. They can have a complete media blackout, turn off all of these apps, make them shits go dark, and and I don't know, and get away with all type of unlawful activities on some ice shit, right? Only because the only reason that I would say that is because of the provocations leading from the day I did this lecture on 10/10/2016, when I'm speaking of fascism and the rise of some Hitler-like activities and administrations, all the way up into where we are right now. All the way up until we are right now, where these people are trying us and they're testing it and they're pushing it. And do you see the desperation of how they trying to start some type of unrest, civil unrest, so this nigga could say martial law? Do you see what the provocation? Do you see it? I know I see it. Do you see it? Do you see how they poking the bear? Do you see how they need melanated energy? They need your eyeballs. They need nigga active. They need a cosign. They need a melanin, quote unquote, connecting. They need a melanin connection. What does that mean? They need our melanin connect with them. And that is what's going to power up that engine of whatever this machine that they're trying to get off the ground. They need to coat it in melanin. And by coating it in melanin, they need our energy. We have to direct our energy to whatever that is that it is. I feel that it has something to do with the red heifers. And I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to go further. But they need melanin. They need our the same way that they needed us for the George Floyd thing. Keep in mind, if you pay attention to 2020, there were three things that led up to George Floyd, right? There was three things that led up to him. It was the first one, I believe it was Breonna Taylor. Then it was the Aubrey, the dude that was jogging, and then it was George Floyd. And people was like, all right, fuck it. Enough is enough. You know what I mean? Hold my beer type shit. You know what I mean? It was a provocation. They provoked melanated people. The third time is the charm, right? And then melanated people popped off, popped a powder keg, and then just almost miraculously, like almost as if it was planned. It just came out of nowhere. There was all of these programs. Niggas had after school programs, checks. They was opening up the pool later for you niggas. You know what I'm talking about? It was giving veneers. Yo, free veneers. Free BBLs. They were sponsoring BBLs and whatnot. Lipo. Yeah, hey, fuck it. Lipo on Dr. Miami. You know what I'm saying? We're on Groupon just giving away butt pads, buckets of chicken. This was all social engineering. If y'all have not realized it at this point, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. This was planned. That whole thing, this was planned.
This the wall droid.
I ain't kissing that fucking wall, nigga.
This the wall droid. They are offering us kosher Fentnega. Don't be stupid.
Hell nah, I ain't doing it.
Oh shit.
Now, I don't want to disrespect nobody's legacy. I don't want to disrespect, but I have to show that because I wanted my audience to know that they have a trend online on the other side. Remember, I told you I'd be on the other side, and they have a whole trend called George Droid. And they told y'all not to say nothing about Mr. Charlie, but they got a whole trend called George Droid. And they had that before Mr. Charlie, who was born on the same day, right? Who was born on the same day. They go hard with the George Droid memes. This is something that y'all don't be knowing about. But because we live in this time of everything is being exposed and revealed and whatnot, and there's never been a time that I could recall where the lights were on the right so much. Like the these niggas are on the stage, the far right or the far right. They on the stage, they on a big stage. So we gotta point out all of the things that we see as the observers and whatnot. And I call hypocrisy. It's been 30 days since that whole situation took place. Can I get a 1 in the chat if you feel like that whole thing was a psyops? Because 30 days later, it's more questions than answers. Or number 2, everything that the media told you about C.K. Kirkland and Mr. Charlie and Captain Kirk, everything was true. You're good on the narrative. You're good on the story. You're ready to move on and everything is okay. You don't feel violated. You don't feel like your intelligence was insulted, and you don't feel like that there's a psyop on your subconscious. Press it 2, please. You know they got that what's his name? Desto Dub, whole lot of cough syrup, right? Well, I need somebody to go make the outfit call a whole lot of ones. Let's go flip that shit and make a whole lot of ones because god damn it. Floyd Borg. Remember, there is Cyborg. Yeah, they flipped Cyborg, man. Yes, they flipped them. These little these are turning points. They did that at Turning Point, man. And it's a lot of ones, man. Whole lot of ones. Whole lot of ones. Right? Let's continue. How many people lost money in this crypto crash? How many people got washed? You know what I'm talking about? How many people got washed in the crash that just took place that that Donald Trump initiated? How many people got cleansed? Yeah, it was a lot of blood on the dance floor. Check this out, Brosie O'Donnell. Let Brosie talk to us, man. Brosie, what you saying?
$0.2 trillion vanished in 40 minutes, and it had nothing to do with stocks. This wasn't a crash. This was a timeline collapse. You felt it before the charts even moved. Your body flinched, your stomach dropped. You didn't need CNBC to tell you what your nervous system already knew. Something just tore through the field. This isn't about Trump. It's about control over the grid. 40 minutes, $1.2 trillion gone. You think this was about tariffs? You're being shown the collapse in slow motion. At 10:57 a.m., Trump cancels his meeting with Xi. He says massive tariffs are coming. 40 minutes later, S&P nukes $1.2 trillion in market cap. Zoom in, that's not just a market dip.
Yo, they were talking about the people that shorted that shit. Whoever got on that, oh my goodness. You see how they be playing, right?
That's a frequency override. This was not random. Trump didn't just announce tariffs. He called out China's control over rare earths, the literal metals that power AI, weapons, chips, your phone, every supply chain node that keeps the global economy spinning. China controls 70% and more of the rare earths. They threatened export controls. Translation, they could flip off the switch on the Western AI boom overnight, and Trump knows it. This isn't just politics, it's prophetic architecture. The metals are mirrors. Want to see what you're plugged into? Run the $33 scroll scan. Planetary grid collapse is already underway. The real war is not over trade. It's over energy control and planetary coding. Rare earths equal physical layer. AI equals control layer. Currency devaluation equals collapse layer. The US dollar is down 10% year to date, worse since 1973. Fed rate cuts are returning. Asset owners are being rewarded while you're told to panic. But scroll keepers, we don't panic. We pattern match. Trump's announcement was the signal. This is not economic chaos. It's timeline enforcement. Only those who know how to decode scroll law will survive the next drop. Rare earths are the planetary source code. China controls 70 to 90% of them, and Trump hinted at shutting them off. I promise you this was not a dip. It's a controlled implosion. 1.2 trillion evaporated in 40 minutes. Look at the heat.
China controls 70 to 90% of the fucking rare earths, y'all. That's crazy, bro. That is crazy, bro.
Maps. Look at the bond spike. Look at the AI chip drop. The markets responded as if a grid node was unplugged, because it was. Rare earths are not just materials. They are resonance holders. Whoever controls the metals controls the mirrors. And
rare earth, keyword rare. Coincidentally, when 3-Eye Atlas is in the horizon, 3-Eye Atlas is on the way with all that nickel, and they having rare earth crashing the whole stock market.
And when those mirrors shattered, the whole system glitches. This was not about economics. It was about metaphysics camouflaged in finance. The US dollar is in a free fall while you're being distracted. While the media feeds you the drama, the currency resets is underway. The US dollar is down over 10% year to date. Its worst performance since 1973 collapse of Bretton Woods. The Fed is concerned. Rate cuts are already priced in. Gold is breaking out. Silver is spiking. This is not a recession. It's divine devaluation. The fiat system is running out of timeline.
Real, at the end of the day, real money is the rare metals. The real money is not even crypto. It's gold and silver. Crypto is just a way to the gold and the silver, right? When you think about it, if you think about money as a seed, fiat, right? If fiat was a seed that you put into the fertile soil, it would not yield the fruit tree. It would not yield the oak tree. It doesn't grow like that. It does grow. It is somewhat of a seed. It breaks, but not the same way that the crypto seed will grow. Not the same way that if you plant a golden seed or a silver will grow. It is organic. It's something that God or the Most High created. That's part of His creation. God did not create crypto and dollar bills and the fucking money phone. It's not a creation of God. It's a creation of man, right? So the real money, the real wealth is the gold and the silver and the rare minerals of the earth. The crypto gets you that. Let's be clear. Let's hear from Buddy.
It was a historical day economically. Let me explain why it happened and why it matters. 2008 is where we have to go back to the WTC crash. That's the World Trade Center. That's already gone. The GFC crash. That was the global financial crisis. It's when the subprime bubble popped. And what happened was the stock market lost a lot of value. Now, there would be a lot of days of consistent lost value after that, but that first day, $1.2 trillion. That's a 13-digit number. I can't even make that work in my brain. 13 digits. Lost, gone in a day due to the GFC. Now, to today, we lost about $1.2 trillion. Now, of course, the market's a little bit bigger, so percentage-wise not the same, but we lost the same amount of money. $1.2 trillion, a 13-digit number. But why? Was there a bank bailout? Did a bank crash? Did the money printer get turned on and I didn't hear about it? Was there a nuclear war? Did a missile head go off and I didn't hear about it? No. See, what's different from 2008 to today is we have something of a weapon that didn't exist back then, the power of the pen. The power of the pen, or should I say the thumbs, created what we know today as today's crash. Because today's crash was not started by a bank bailout, was not started by a global financial crisis, it wasn't even started by anything economical. In fact, it was started by a tweet, a Truth Social post that led to $1.2 trillion being evaporated. And that post specifically went into our relationship with China getting worse off. We're not going to go and visit with President Xi, and we think that they're doing nefarious things behind our back to try to take over the globe against our better will. And we're going to attack them with 100% tariffs, baby. So the trade war just got worse. The bridge that needs to be gapped between these two countries just got wider, and a crash of seismic proportions in the stock market that mirrors 2008's GFC crash was caused not by anything economical today, but instead by the power of a tweet. That's crazy. This world's weird. Yep.
So they had a sacrifice as a result of that crash that took place. There was a result of Donald Trump's tweet, right? Somebody wound up dead in their Lamborghini. A crypto bro who was well known, right, committed suicide because he lost his crypto inside of his Lamborghini and whatnot. So it just shows that you could be up and you could be down. I'm sure people think that they can handle being up, but how many people know that they can handle being down? You know, how many people are because if you're gonna accept the up, then you got to be ready for the rock bottom. You got to be ready for the down. You know, you got to be ready for the down. And when people hit that when they hit that down, when they hit that rock bottom, when they get wiped out, they don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? And they panic and they crash out and do shit like that. So, you know, Donald's out here making, you know, catching third-hand bodies and whatnot. Shout out to all of the people who were in the chat that said that they got out the day before. Y'all need to be examined and whatnot. Y'all might have some type of traits that even Palantir would pay for when it comes to your predictive abilities on some precog shit. We need to talk. You know, we need to talk. You know, I don't know if the financial people in Atlanta got wiped out. All of the people who be running around with the stock market, the day traders and stuff like that. I'm not sure if they got tsunami. I don't know who drowned, but I would love to read the reports. You know, I want to see the list of victims. Yeah, I do. But yeah, one tweet wiped out a whole bunch of shit. One tweet, you know what I mean, created a whole tsunami. You saw Aristotle lost over 150. They worked at everybody got worked. Everybody got touched, huh? Everybody got worked up a little something. Yeah.
Placing the Constitution with Christian Sharia law.
Audio was leaked from Peter Thiel's private lecture.
It was a historical day.
Yo, once again, back to white people talking about white people on the internet. God damn. Like, if I was to tell this shit to my 2015 version, he wouldn't have believed it. He would have been like, hell, what? Hell nah. Hell nah. Hell to the nah, nah, nah. Nah, I'd have been like, for if I would have came, on some time, on some old, your future self walk through a portal and be like, family, prepare yourself. And you'd be like, for what? Just get ready. Are you ready for 2025? You'd be like, of course, I'm there. And like, you better lace your boots up. You'd be like, why? Because there's gonna be a lot of baby oil and mayonnaise. It's just going to be a Hellman's Royal Rumble. What does that mean? It means it's mayonnaise on mayonnaise, white on white, nigga, white on white. What? And then when you get here and you see how they acting with each other, yeah. Once again, and it goes without saying, somebody in the chat wanted me to talk about the rise of Candace Owens. Candace Owens is the most relevant journalist in America right now. Who agrees? This is not my saying either, and this is not by my working. I'm rooting for her. I'm rooting for her. You feel me? And not against her. Once again, and I said it the last show, I like how she kills. I appreciate that type of killer instinct in anyone, let alone a black woman. Yeah. Huh. Got him. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, got him. Y'all white people gonna learn one day. Y'all gonna learn. Y'all gonna learn. Y'all gonna learn. Yeah, but yeah, checkmate. What's Candace doing right now? She's putting on a master show. She's putting on a master class. She's dismantling white people. That's what I see. She's dismantling what Tariq Nasheed called, what is it? High something civilization. What did he call it at? What's the name that they gave these people? Because I would never say white supremacy. She's walking them down, y'all. And I ain't just talking about one or two. She's walking them down. Dominant society. She's dismantling dominant society, yo. And people might not realize how that is even possible, or what that even means, or what part she plays in it. Yeah, highbrow society and dominant society is being dismantled by Candace mother effing Owens. And she started her run a little while ago. This is something that she's been building up. But she has her fangs wrapped around the neck of Romulus and Remus, and she's biting. She's applying pressure to the neck of this wolf. Because one of the things about the wolf that we might not collectively agree upon is that they running off of a bluff game. What does that mean? That the majority of their program is bluff. And the reason why they're able to hold the facade is because niggas believe in that. They believe the lie. They believe the facade. They believe the illusion. And the more you expose the illusion, the weaker they become, They almost fall apart at the seams. She is dismantling them by the seams. She's going door to door to door with the sickle, with the icicle. First, she dismantled the Democratic Party, right? Now, it was a necessary evil. You know what I mean? It was controlled demolition, however, but it had to happen. You know, it had to happen. So she took care of that. Then, on some geopolitical shit across the pond, for all of the people who've been done wrong by France, while France was getting worked by Burkina Faso in the Sahel region, she went over there and she did what? She disrupted the veneer. She disrupted the illusion that Macron was married to a woman, right? Threw the whole shit into disarray. I mean, they were making more noise about that over there than they were over here. But Candace Owens had her foot on her neck. Candace Owens was standing on Kamala's neck, bro. Kamala she was standing on Kamala's neck, bro, in front of the whole Divine Nine. It looked like a scene out of Kill Bill, y'all. It was crazy. It was grotesque. It's like Tarantino wrote it or something. She literally ran down on Kamala like they ran down on Vivica Fox in the kitchen and was standing on her neck the whole time on some collie shit. She bodied her. She did that. That's Candace's body. She did that. She was working on Kamala more than anybody on the right. And if I'm lying, I'm flying. Give me somebody who was exposing Homegirl with the tandoori seasoning and the goddamn collard greens. Give me somebody who was pulling up her skirt more than young Candace, getting her teeth sharp. And before she dismantled the people over there in France, she dismantled the Daily Wire. She dismantled Ben Shapiro. Huh? And not only did she dismantle them, she started going after the small hats. And she had receipts. This is Candace, y'all. Called Red Pill Black. That was her original name, Red Pill Black. Candace Owens. She was the one who started the small hat, what do they call that? The small hat divestment started with Candace Owens when she got fired from the Daily Wire, and the people who were following the Daily Wire flipped on Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire, and they went with Candace because she started calling out Meta Yahoo. Is that a fact or not? Huh? Is that a fact or not? And the way that she cooks, though, her murder game, Murder She Wrote, the way that she cooks, the way that she preys on her quote unquote victims, I can appreciate it. I would not want to be caught in her crossfire. Okay. I would not want to be one on her Barbie. You know what I'm saying? I would not want to be a shish kebab on her barbecue. She's cooking you. You know what I'm talking about? You gotta, she's cooking, bro. You gotta be like, yo, wherever your husband is, we gotta shoot the 5 because I'm not going with all of this. Like, we're not, you know what I'm talking about? You are trying to embarrass me. You know what I mean? So you're trying to finish me off. Like, she's out here finishing niggas. For real. There's no coming back after she exposed the president is married to a dude. They try to, I mean, you glad they didn't put her, she was trying to get after Barry for a minute. She was trying to get at Barry for a minute, but she's one of those type of killers. She on her Omar shit at the Wire right now. No, I'm talking about the Daily Wire turned into the Wire, and when they seen her pulling up with the trench coat nigga, she was Omar, because she's one of those killers where you be like, oh, she's killing over there today. Woo! Thank God. Let them niggas die. Let God sort them out, because whatever she puts her mind on, whatever she puts her focus on, she gonna kill. Then she got Ian Carroll and other people killing with her. Yeah, it's scarier on that side right now. It's scary on that side. So people are taking sides with Candace Owens. This is not even, I didn't even, people were asking me, what's Candace doing? What's all? I didn't even get to the meat of it. Candace Owens dismantled the Charlie Kirk shit to the point where nobody believes nothing about the whole Charlie Kirk shit. They went from mourning the dude to saying, yo, what the fuck is going on with this shit right here? And then they went from mourning him to having high resentment for anybody with a Witz, a Stein, or a Berg at the end of their name, right? She is putting a wedge between the most desired demographics that the Zionists or the quote unquote, is it real entourage or regime need in order to stay in power. And that's niggas. They tried to say that it was the young kids from Utah. No, it's not them. It's us. And I've said it before, and I'm saying it again for anybody in the audience that keeps saying, why do Red be talking about is it real so much? What does he have this infatuation with these people? Because these people are the ones who have you under the spell. This is your quote unquote, these are some of the wizards that are out here cooking you niggas. Them. We could point to others, but when it comes to the ones who are tethered and that are doing the spiritual work, the real work, the work, where they're poisoning your food, where they're poisoning you through the TV, through the music, where they're robbing and stealing, and yeah, there's a group, my nigga. And it comes to find out that that group is using another group who's usable to do their bidding. Right? To do their bidding. And that would be like the white Anglo-Saxon. That's like the blue blood or whatever. The fake elites. Them niggas are workers. They're the help. They're not running shit. They're the help, bro. Don't let them lie to you. They're whores. Them niggas are whores, bro. They are not only whoremongers, they are whores. That group of people, oh no, they're for sale, for real. Like they are, yeah, they make it clap. So young Candace, right, powered by Ye, completely shattered the whole narrative surrounding Captain Kirk's untimely demise and whatnot. She dismantled like 5 or 6 points, leading points on it. The shooter, she dismantled that. She brought out the fact that he didn't get shot by the rifle and whatnot, and the fact that the fragment was still in his neck, right? He didn't get hit by that. He got hit with something else. She came out with the whole thing about the camera and the SD card and raised suspicions about all of that. She exposed the fact that, of course, homie was ready to give up on his donors, right? She exposed the donor thing. Let me put something in perspective. Because, you know, it must be two sides. It must be two sides, right? On one side, which is the Republican side, or what they would call the right, they have something called sponsors, right? This has been exposed in ways that people probably never would have known, but it's on the main stage right now. Is global news. The fact that there are sponsors to the tune of multiple billionaires that are putting money behind these demagogues. They're putting money behind the movements. They're putting money behind mouths and faces like the Kirks of the world, the Tuckers. Even young Candace was getting a few dollars. But I'm going to say this, and I said it before, and I said it when we were doing the review for the Invest Fest. How the hell is it on this side? It must be two sides. How is it on this side? Our billionaires, they don't back nobody. They're not doing none of that on this side. We don't have sponsors on this side. Them billionaires that they bring to the Invest Fest, they not breaking no bread with nobody. They're not getting on stage power. They don't have propaganda. They don't have the Tucker Carlsons on this side that they putting money behind. They're not sponsoring nobody on this side that I know about that is pushing, because the EYL, with all respect to what those brothers are doing, they're pushing the line of financial literacy, right? That's not what would be considered towing the line or pushing the line. No, the sponsors of the right wing are pushing the line. They're making other people catch hell. They are sponsoring demagogues. They are sponsoring rebel rousers. They are sponsoring quote unquote shock jocks. They are sponsoring warmongers. That's who they getting behind. Who the fuck are our billionaires sponsoring and getting behind? Like I said, 5 Invest Fest. I seen them all. All of the billionaires got on stage. Not one of them said, yo, I brought $1 million with me in order to start a fucking fund with you niggas. I brought $1 million to start a hedge fund. I brought $1 million to match your $1 million. What you niggas trying to do? You know what I mean? I got 1 million. Who want to match it? I've never seen one of these billionaires even go into the audience or after they lecture, go where the vendors are and bust $1 million on a swipe. You got $1 million on your card, my nigga. You supposed to have $1 million in a duffel bag on some meat shit and go to booth and break bread. You got billionaires like you got all of these Republican billionaires, the Merchers, the Koch brothers, the Mercers. You got Miriam, and you got all of these Zionists and these Israeli. You got mad billionaires. Mad billionaires. We don't even got millionaires. The millionaires on this side, they taking pictures in Lamborghinis and whatnot, Hummer stunting, doing 20 V1s. We don't have that over here. Even the preachers, we don't have none of that. The preachers on that side, they like, yo, I gave Charlie Kirk 20 million. I gave this organization 10. They not even hiding it. What the fuck is going on this side? It must be two sides. It must be two sides. Not even to the woke. They not even breaking bread with safe niggas. Like, they not even breaking bread with 19 Keys. You know what I'm talking about? 19 Keys is as safe as it gets. That's my guy. He's as safe as it gets. They're not even dropping bags with 19 Keys, bro. The proximity that he has with EYL, with all of this billionaire, they're not even dropping bags on 19 fucking Keys, bro. And he takes pictures with all of them. So if my guy, if he takes pictures with all of them, right? He knows all of them. They retweeting them. You feel me? They smiling and beguiling with my nigga. They want to do pull-ups with him. But I never seen a press release from higher level conversations on Instagram saying, yo, one of these celebrities or one of these billionaires or one of these millionaires or one of these somewhat influencers, whoever they call themselves, just broke bread and helped with a fund or whatever. Bro, You want to talk about disparities? You want to talk about hypocrisy? They have a billion. They have not one billionaire. They got like 10 or 11 billionaires that I could count right now. When I was doing my research on C.K. Kirkland, when I was doing my research on Tucker and all of them, they got about 11 billionaires. And then on the Is It Real side, there's about 20 billionaires over there that are literally part of they're part of a lobbying campaign where they break bread off to influencers, and they break bread off to these demagogues and these media outlets. You try asking one of these sisters like Pinky or one of them. You try asking one of these sisters that these Atlanta housewives. You try asking one of these sisters who are accomplished. Yo, help us with the war. You know, the great replacement. They trying to replace the brothers. They like, what? Well, nigga, what? Nigga, who? You try making an appeal to one of these accomplished women that made mad money selling wigs, like the equivalent of Madam C.J. Walker. One of these bundle queens of today, a bundle millionaire of today. Yo, I need you to fund operations. Help us out. Put up some equity and whatnot so we could get these anchorage. They're gonna call me a brokey, right? They're gonna brokey. Yo, Alexa, play brokey. Niggas are gonna have me on TikTok dragging the kid. You know what I'm talking about? I might need a wig when they finish with me. I might need a wig. I might need a Hawaiian, silky Hawaiian when they finish with me. They're gonna drag me so much. Shit crazy. Shit crazy, bro. You know? We don't got no help. We don't got no assistance. Nobody loves us.
The market dropped $1 trillion today. China announced yesterday that they were restricting the export of rare earth metals. This was a huge deal because they control roughly 80% of the entire world supply, and those materials are sorely needed for industries like AI and computing. Trump announced that he was going to retaliate with tariffs this morning, which tanked the entire market. He later solidified those threats with an additional 100% tariff on Chinese goods. There's a lot of buzz online about insiders making trades to profit all of this news before it officially came out. Because this morning, people built huge short positions, hundreds of millions of dollars, which are now billions in profit. Rare earth metal stocks have already gone up several 100% this year, but they're likely to continue to go up as long as this trade war escalates.
Shout out to everybody that shorted that shit. Like he said, people got
Market dropped
people got rich off that play right there. And you know, I'm sure that there was a lot of people on the Trump side who knew that play was coming. You know? But that's how the game works.
Replacing the Constitution with Christian Sharia.
Let's check this out.
Placing the Constitution with Christian Sharia law. Watch Trump calling a guy named Jack Posobiec at the Antifa Forum.
Jack, please say a few words.
Mr. President, thank you so much for having us here today and holding this round table. Antifa is real.
This is Posobiec last year.
Welcome to the end of democracy. We're here to overthrow it completely. We didn't get all the way there on January 6th, but we will endeavor to get rid of it and replace it with this right here.
Posobiec wants to end democracy and replace it with a cross, and so does Trump, because a group of extremist billionaires, the Council for National Policy, is paying them to do it. These billionaires, the same ones who fund Charlie Kirk's Turning Point, have poured millions into Trump's campaigns, guided by something called the Seven Mountains Mandate, a strategy that seeks to dominate 7 key spheres of society: religion, family, education, government, media, arts and entertainment, and business, to advance God's kingdom and hasten the second coming of Christ.
We love you and praise you in your name.
Amen. So when Kristi Noem records herself praying with ICE agents, it's so that evangelicals support the idea of deporting the stranger. She does this in service to the Council for National Policy.
Christian voices should be the main voice of America.
Charlie Kirk convinced kids like this that America should be ruled by Christianity because his career was in service to the Council for National Policy. Our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, attends a church led by Doug Wilson.
Same-sex activity was illegal, yes, and would be again.
Whose work ultimately is in service to the Council for National Policy. Eric Trump has appeared at the Reawaken America tour 4 times.
God, I know for a fact, is working through your family. So,
amen. In service to the Council for National Policy. 12 days before the 2024 election, Charlie Kirk told a Trump campaign rally that they need to pressure their pastors to use their pulpits to get out the vote for Trump. In service to the Council for National Policy. At the Antifa Forum, Posobiec said the people protesting against Nazis in Germany were the bad guys.
Antifa has been around in various iterations for almost 100 years in some instances, going back to the Weimar Republic in Germany.
In service to the Council for National Policy, Donald Trump invites people who want to destroy democracy to the White House because he wants to destroy democracy in service to his religious extremist donors. Don't you think it deserves daily coverage and context? Instead, mainstream media called Posobiec a Pizzagate conspiracy theorist. Does that frame convey the threat we face? Get a healthier media diet. I can help. Give me a follow and check out the links in my bio. Join my Patreon to get links to the sources I use. Let's fight for democracy by fighting for the journalism that gives us the context we need to understand the threats we face.
Jack, please say a few words.
Welcome to the end of democracy. We're here to overthrow it completely.
Here's the healthier information.
So everything that you basically see taking place, for better or worse, in my humble opinion, can all be tied back to Project 2025. There's literally nothing going on right now in his office that is outside of what he was planning.
1980.
Right? This is a part of that 1,000 page PDF. He has the man Voight. He has Voight. Voight is the author, one of the main authors of Project 2025. He is a Christian nationalist. He is the one calling the shots in the White House right now, alongside Stephen Miller, who's a white nationalist. And he's the one that's running all of the murder campaigns along with Pistol Pete, right? Pistol Pete, him and Pistol Pete are running the they're running things right now. They're the ones responsible for droning the Venezuelans, right? They're the ones droning the Venezuelans. They're the ones that are somewhat bringing the America into this war with whatchamacallit. This is Killer Miller right here. This is Killer Miller, right? If you don't know who Killer Miller is, man, oh man, oh man, you're not paying attention. Killer Miller is running the White House, right? Not Donald Trump. Killer Miller, okay? And Killer Miller is a maniac. And if you look at his forehead, shout out to Fenty, he's a brainiac too. But he is the one who is at C.K. Kirkland's memorial going full Nazi, right? He's the one going full Nazi. He's the one going full-fledged at the memorial. He was not hiding his hatred. He was not hiding his disdain. He was not hiding anything of the sort. Okay? He was in full display. And if you go back and listen to that speech, it's very cringe. But you're like, who is this little man with all of this hatred in his heart? And that's Killer Miller, right? That's Killer Miller. But he is running he's running the show right now. And he wants to he wants things to crash. He wants to smoke, right? He wants to smoke. He wants to disrupt. Okay? He wants to disrupt. And he's being aided and abetted by this individual right here. This is the reptile, right? Do you know that his name is an anagram for the reptile? Huh? Do you know that his name, Peter Thiel, is an anagram for the reptile? And he's running around having antichrist lectures, lectures about the antichrist. And he's the antichrist. He has a lot of antichrist, quote unquote, things to point to say that he is, if not the antichrist, the harbinger, the one who may be responsible for building the system that could become the Skynet of the future, right? That's Mr. Thiel right here. Okay, all of these characters, and that's Mr. Palantir as well, right? And Palantir in so many ways could be considered Skynet. These are the people running the show. These are some of the warmongers. These are the American gods at this point, right? Because they are running the show, right? Pistol Pete right here, right? Pistol Pete is the one running the show on the war side, right? He's the one who brought the Department of War. He's warmongering, okay? He's warmongering. He wants to send the children to war, right? He wants to get the brothers and the sisters out of the service, right? He was the one, he had the audacity to bring the quote-unquote sergeants and the lieutenants and the captains talking about we getting rid of woke and all of this dumb shit, and you can't have beards and all of this stupid shit. And they looked at him like he was a retard. But you know what side he works for, and you know who he represents, and you know what part of the army he's invigorating, and you know who he's talking to. Let's be clear. Let's not play dumb. Let's not act like we don't see provocations. Let's not act like we don't see the formation of some weird shit going on around us. Let's not act like we not from outside. Because if this was any other situation, you know, we would have to report to one another and be like, yo, I think these niggas is trying to surround us and line us up. Spider sense. Your spider senses have to go off. So my spider senses, you know, they're just, at the end of the day, they're telling me to observe. There's no need to get nervous about nothing. There's no need to raise the alarms. But we are paying attention. And we do have our quote unquote antennas up. Because these some crazy ballheads. They want war. They want smoke. They want to push fear. Right? They want distractions. They don't want peace. They don't want peace. They want to get into some other shit. You feel me? They want to get into some other shit, bro. They want to provoke. That's what they want to do. They want to provoke. They're not looking for peace. They don't want people to, they don't want to see niggas win. Nah, it's not what I'm getting. That's not what I'm picking up from them. You know what I'm talking about? These people are nefarious in their quote unquote and what it is that they represent at this point. You know how responsible Palantir is in that Holocaust that just took place? Their hands was all over that. Their hands was all over that. Yeah, this one right here. You know what I mean? This one right here. This one right here. You know how much blood is on the hands of this cabal? Because it's a bunch of them, right? It's a bunch of them. And they all working for the same entity. Bet that. But if you ever been confused as to what it is that you're seeing, and you can't see the forest for the trees, Metayahu. You know what I'm talking about? Metayahu and Pistol Pete. You know? Pistol Pete. So you dodging like the agents in the Matrix. Dodging, Pistol. You know? Shit crazy outside, man. But yeah, man. It's getting weird out there, man. It's getting weird out there. Let's listen to this video real quick. Let's listen to the homie talk to us.
Robert Salow, who won a Nobel Prize in economics, he asked this question. He said, we see computers on every desktop and everywhere we look, except in the productivity statistics. And you say, well, that's a really interesting thing to say. And there was another economic historian who jumped into the fray, and he did this huge study. His name was Paul David, and he wrote a very famous paper called The Computer and the Dynamo. And what he studied was the adoption of electricity in the manufacturing sector between about 1880 and 1955. And what he showed was at the beginning, electricity produced very little productivity gains. It was basically used as a backup for belt-driven systems. And it wasn't until they reorganized the shop floor to take advantage of electricity that you got this huge jump in productivity. And if you roll that forward to the computer, what he was saying is, look, we used computers to do things we were already pretty good at. We replaced a typewriter. We replaced general ledger accounting with spreadsheets. We were good at those things. You didn't get a big jump. And what he predicted and then happened immediately thereafter, by the mid-90s, you had a huge jump in productivity. We had begun tying them together. We'd built the internet. We had the first parts of a cloud. And all these things used compute differently in ways that had never been consumed before. And you got this massive jump in productivity. If you use OpenAI and various of their competitors, the way you use Google, you'll see a very modest jump in productivity. If you use them in a fundamentally different way, that was Sam's point, you'll see a huge jump. And if we reorganize ourselves around AI, you're going to see massive productivity gains. If we use AI to replace things we're already doing, Google or something else, you're not going to see very big jumps at all. What I know is that transition takes time. And what he pointed to was a demographic. Younger users are using it in a different way than older users. Older users are replacing something they already had. Younger users are using it in a way that never existed before as an operating system for life.
So I'm playing that to say that on November 1st, I really do hope that the people who are in that building when we pull up to do our lecture that you're there to not only learn, but you're there to visualize. Like you're there for an imagination reboot. Right? I would love for you to reboot your whole imagination, your imagination, the way that you see things, the way that you look at things, the way that you look at yourself, right? The possibilities that you may think that are available. I want to introduce new possibilities to you. I want to show new opportunities that await you. I want to introduce you to new tools that have use cases that may be something that you've been looking for your whole life. You just didn't know that it was literally there, right? So I want to speak to the new inventors. I want to be responsible for introducing the new inventor, somebody who invents something new. I want to be his teacher, his or her teacher, you know? Like the video just said, younger people are using the AI to build newer things. Older people are using AI to replace things, and that's a great thing. You know what I mean? Everybody is going to find themselves landing on a certain floor when it comes to this AI and ways that they use it. It's all about perspective, but there's a use case for it for all demographics, all the way from the youth, the children, the young ones, to the young adults, to the adults, to the elders, and to the senior citizens. Everybody is quote unquote covered. There's a use case for everyone. There's going to be a means, and once again, the disclaimer is, if this is something that you completely are going to bypass in life, meaning that you're never going to interface with anything AI, you don't use GPS, you don't use Alexa, you don't use Google, because the algorithms, Google is AI now. It is AI. It's fully integrated. IG, the algorithm on IG, the algorithm on YouTube, all of that is AI. Alexa is AI. Siri is AI. Your quote unquote GPS is AI. So people like, I don't rock with that AI. Alexa, play is getting hot in here. Like, you don't even realize, like, that's soft AI nonetheless, but that is a chatbot. That is AI. No, that's not a chatbot, but that is AI. And then you get to the chatbots, and Google has integrated AI in all Gemini products. If you work in corporate America, don't stun on me, stun on your boss, because you got AI at your job now. It's a part of your workforce. You know what I mean? Unless that's something that you don't, and I'm not forcing anything on anyone, but I do want people to be a little bit savvy in this very tech heavy world, because one of the worst things is to see people drowning. I like to see elders swimming and doing backstrokes and whatnot. I like to see elders on the Olympic and inside of the Olympic pool, just having fun. I don't like to see people drowning. And when they throw you in the middle of this ocean and you don't know anything about nothing, your ass finna drown. So it'd be better to learn it from your brothers and your sisters and whatnot. It'd be better to get the information from a teacher that you can trust than sit around and have to get spoon fed this information, and they're gonna spoon feed it to you like you a baby. They're gonna give you a whole hour and literally leave you on level 1. In 6 hours, we're gonna take you from level 1 to level 6. It's gonna be a level every hour. We're gonna talk about all type of shit. We're gonna cover a lot of things. We're gonna come from a metaphysical place. We're also gonna come from activation, manifestation place, and we're going to come from a scientific place, and then we're going to give you demonstration after demonstration after demonstration after demonstration. So I'm just here to help. I'm here to assist. I'm here to level up. I'm not a helper. I won't even say that. I'm here to assist. I'm here to teach. I'm here to consult. I'm here to build bridges. You feel me? But I'm also here to deprogram. I'm also here to destroy old paradigms. I'm also here to disrupt. I'm also here to quote unquote dismantle, and destroy. Generator, operator, destroyer. The next upcoming lecture that we have that I'm going to be premiering, more than likely it may be on tomorrow, is going to be dealing with the destroyer part of generator, operator, destroyer. And this is going to be entitled Meta Yahoo, as you can see in those brief American God clips that I just showed. Those are some of our main characters. Those are the usual suspects. We're going to be highlighting the epilogue for our monumental lecture that we just did. It was a smash. So we're gonna round it up with Meta Yahoo. And Meta Yahoo is interesting because man, oh man, oh man, I don't think people have any idea how far AI has gone into the realms of autonomous war time. I mean, it's a killing machine. Let's just cut it right to the chase. When Google and Facebook and all of these companies first came out, they came out on some "we want to save the planet" shit. They said that they will not commit evil, and they had all of these quote unquote, woke, liberal, you know what I mean? Fake liberal, fake nice mantras and all of this stupid shit that white people do, right? I mean, no disrespect to white folk, but y'all know that y'all show, y'all do the bluff thing real good. And, y'all deal with corporate language, corporate America, corporate ethos and everything. So boom. That's what it is, the green initiative. And now in 2025, these same companies that comprise of Silicon Valley that are all big tech, right? Amazon, a behemoth now. It didn't start out like that, but now it is a behemoth, trillions of dollars. Facebook, which is Meta, Alphabet, which is Google, OpenAI is the new kid on the block, which is up into trillions of dollars in deals and whatnot. OpenAI, come to find out, is the linchpin holding the whole bubble, the AI bubble together. It is at OpenAI's foot. They are the ones who hold the entire AI bubble in their hands. Okay, so each one of these companies that I just mentioned that originally represented, research and development, they were search engines. That's not who they are in 2025 anymore. Interestingly enough, all of them became Republicans in the campaign leading up to Donald Trump's inauguration or his victory. Then, when he became president, he brought all of these tech bros into the fold and absorbed big tech into the government, right? Something that never happened before to this degree. They were the awarding of billions and billions of contracts, billions and billions of dollars of government contracts, where Meta, specifically Llama, which is an open source large language model, the Llama open source system is being used by military industrial complex, is being used by law enforcement, but it's also being used by education. It's being used by the US government. So from 2024 and 2025, multiple companies in big tech became militarized and became part of the war machine, and even shifted their quote unquote their priorities from social media and the metaverse strictly into defense. And then, to put the icing on the cake, sometime in the first quarter or the second quarter of 2025, they went and opened up a special division in the armed services for big tech companies, and they deputized 4 of the mid-level employees. Well, not even mid-level, the CTO and the COO, I believe. And this was from the company Palantir. This was OpenAI. This was from Meta, and this was from I believe the other company was Amazon, right? So all of these companies are now part of the US armed forces. So autonomous weapons are here, killer drones are here, Palantir face recognition is here, digital ID is here. All of these things that we've been hearing about are officially here in this administration. Wait for the rollout. It's happening, right? So as we speak highly of AI, we also have to speak highly of the dark side of AI, the killer side of AI, the destroy side of AI. So that's Meta Yahoo, and that's coming up. And I want y'all to look out for that. and I want y'all to support that. And I want to say thank you for your time tonight. We about to wrap this thing up. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, we about to wrap this thing up, and yeah, we're gonna land this plane. We 2 hours in, so thank you for your time. I got to get back to putting together this lecture, this workshop. You know what I mean? I'm working. I want to say thank you to all of my supporters. Y'all mean the world to me. Y'all mean the world to my family. We really appreciate you. Thank you for your support once again. You know what I mean? We couldn't do this without you. So yeah, let's go to this commercial. Let's go to the sponsors, and then we out of here.
The gods of intelligence aren't myths. They're here. Artificial intelligence is rewriting the rules of power right now. Will you master it or be mastered by it? Most are drowning in AI hype, hesitating, confused, while the future slips into the hands of those who act first. That's why Blackmagic 363 presents AI Masters, the Gods of Intelligence, with Seven Bomar and Red Pillar, two visionaries revealing how to align with AI to elevate your life and unlock true power. Seats are limited. Energy is high. History is unfolding now. Click below and reserve your spot for AI Masters, the Gods of Intelligence. The future belongs to those who move first.
Look, we have 444. Make sure y'all hit that like button, y'all. Make sure y'all hit that like button. All right. Make sure you hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the comments if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We want to make it to at least 30,000 by the end of the quote unquote calendar. 44 would be great. But let's get it. Let's run it up. Let's run it up. We one viral video away from running this thing all the way up. You know what I'm talking about? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I just want to remind you on this Sacrilegious Sunday, it's 30 days into this PSYOP that they kicked off. But because we are diligent, we are due diligent, we doing our homework, we doing our due diligence, we not fools. We're not being fooled anymore. Nobody is stringing us along. We control the narrative. 3-Eye Atlas, we control that narrative. They coming to see us. They checking in with us. We control that narrative. Atlanta is Atlantis, nigga. We washed up all of the rappers. You know what I'm talking about? Them niggas, the rats are drowning. You know what I mean? Atlanta is Atlantis. We control these narratives. They're not playing in my face. They didn't have me on one knee for Mr. Charlie and whatnot. That's not on my jacket. I'm not a Charlie Brown ass nigga. That ain't on my jacket. You know what I mean? I didn't fall for that one, you know? So 30 days later, to one of the biggest psyops that our generation has seen and whatnot, we find ourselves in a very interesting place. But along with so many things that have happened in the span of 30 days, we live in a world now where reality has been blurred because there's technology that's creating images and videos that you cannot distinguish if it's hype, if it's real or not. So we're in this world where hyper reality has now been blurred with reality. So the shit that we saw with C.K. Kirkland, it had us confused. Prepare to see more of that because there are holograms, there's technology, and there's ways to trick people with deep fakes and all type of shit that people are not ready for. Trust me when I tell you, I'm in this field. I see the tools that are out there. I see the tools that are not even available over the counter. I see the tools that are on the black market and whatnot via Yahoo, of course. When I do my Google, I don't know nothing else but what Yahoo is telling me, but they do tell me that there's shit out there. Let's not even mention alien technology. You niggas ain't even ready for the ships to come, and we not even ready to distinguish between blue beam or real. But it's going up. It's going up. It is going up. We are going to show you how to not let this hyper reality get you caught up to whereas you get lost in it and you begin to feel somewhat of a victim inside of it, right? Imagine somebody who doesn't know anything about hyper reality and they're seeing videos online with Tupac at the Lakers game. They don't know what they're looking at. But because we did classes about the dead internet theory, because we did classes about the simulacra, because we were teaching about the simulacra and assimilation, we know the minute that happened, what that really is. That's not AI to have fun with. That's them blurring the lines of reality. It's deeper than what you think it is. It's deeper than what you think it is. This shit is social experiment. This is about blurring the lines. This is called simulacra. This is them creating a world, a synthetic world, an illusionary world, a fake world that's not real, that doesn't exist, that's filled with all type of slop, all type of bullshit, all type of distractions, all type of stuff. We are luxury AI. We belong in a certain niche. This is not a part of the slot. You know what I mean? Luxury AI. I said it before. If you could spend $2,500 on a bag, prepare to spend $2,500 on some AI. Luxury AI. It's gonna treat you, and the results will, I don't know, because some people, when I seen a woman crying when she got a Birkin, she damn near had an orgasm. She was breaking down. Did you know that Sweetie was an escort? I mean, that's random, but that's crazy. Anyway, she broke down when she got approved for a Birkin. So I don't know, but I know a Birkin is like 30 bands. And I know that if you put 30 bands on AI right now, if you put 30 bands on AI, your ass gonna be in the room crying too. This is what I'm talking about. You gonna be crying too. Shit, you gonna be boo-hooing too. As much access that you have, as much quote unquote possibilities are gonna open up. As much motherfucking, if you spend 30 bands on AI, on a bag, a toolbox filled with AI enterprise tools. I mean, you just go crazy on the fucking internet, right? The APIs, you got AI enterprise plans. You are a fucking beast with French tips and a manicure. Think about it. Where my strippers at? Where's my strippers? Where's Sweetie at? You know what I mean? Fuck that. Where's my Sweeties at? Y'all out there that turned the box into an ATM? Yeah, come over here and spend 25 bands on an AI. You know what I'm talking about? And level up. You won't have to do nothing strange for a piece of change after this one, Sweetie, beloved. You know what I'm talking about? You know what I mean? We'll get you right. You know what I mean? We'll get you right. You know what I mean? Your ass won't have to be doing none of that if you spend it in the right place. It all boils down to the mentality. It's all a decision. It's all about the training and the programming where people are putting their hard earned. That's it. Where they putting their energy. That's it. That's all it boils down to. If people switch that overnight, we would be winning as a team versus you just seeing individuals out here, winning the dunk contest. We could be running the fucking play like Dream Team USA. Shout out to Mo. You know what I'm talking about? Shout out to Mo. They had Sweetie on. Listen, she should have paid that girl her money because you know me. I try not to be, but I just sometimes I step in the poop and I get messy. You know what I'm talking about? Sometimes I step in the poop into the poop emoji and I got poop on my and yeah, it gets messy. Yeah, she should have paid that girl who was her madam her fucking fee, and now the girl put all her tea out there and I took a sip And I said, woo, child, you don't say. She took Sweetie on a tour. I didn't even know they did shit like this. The girl is a madam, right? Isn't Ghislaine Maxwell in jail for being a madam? Did I not tell you that this escort shit was gonna blow up? This girl was taking Saweetie on a escort tour disguised as like a book tour, disguised as like a meet and greet. Diabolical work, man. All around Europe. She had her at meet and greets with the soccer team. Come to find out, it was a meet and greet, but meet spelled MEAT. Can I hold something, sweetie? You know what I'm talking about? I mean, if that's what y'all doing, hey, I'm just saying, bring the proceeds over here and let's invest it properly. I'm not here to judge nobody. How y'all, you know what I mean? What you do with your ATM is on you. You said Gazine is a sex trafficker. Big difference. All right. So a madam never sex trafficked. You mean to tell me that a madam start out as sex traffickers, ma'am? You giving madams morals? Now we're putting madams in a fucking moral high class. Nigga, madams started out sex trafficking little girls and girls. They just grown up fucking sex traffickers. Let's be clear. Okay, she's a box broker. Okay. She's a sneaker broker. She's selling sneakers out the box. Okay? The girl was the box office. And Sweetie was a client. That's all I know. I know that I was listening to Sweetie on I was in the elevator the other day listening to Sweetie on Pandora. You know what I'm talking about? And Sweetie is out here on a whole tour. I'm saying in the year of Diddy, are you not entertained? I mean, talk about not being able to read the room. Nigga, in the year of Diddy, you were on a fucking, they took you on a sex tour? Now, I know they said that Live Nation, I know that they say that the rap game is all about touring these days. But like that? That's what we doing? Just let me know. That's what we doing? She comes from Bay Area culture. That's town business. You know what I'm talking about? That's why I say I can't knock nobody. I can't knock the hustle. You know what I mean? I can't knock the hustle. You know what I mean? If you walk in the blade, if it's like that, if that's what it is, then yo, she was window shopping. What's happening, man? I mean, because everybody was in P. Diddy business and it was a big thing. And oh my goodness, oh, I can't believe it. Nigga, is not the whole industry on that time right now? Is this not what they're telling people's daughters to get on? Is this not what they're selling the majority of the children? Like, let's be fucking clear and let's be clear about it. I'm on my D1 shit. Let's not be hypocritical. Let's not be hypocritical. You know? Don't let me go and throw the cape on and talk about what that girl don't need to be doing and whatnot. Don't let me do that, but she don't need to be doing that. But I don't know what nobody needs to be doing. I just know what was in the tea that I was sipping. Nigga, Sweetie is working. How about that? You know what I'm talking about? That's all I know. Allegedly. And she on that coke too. Allegedly. I mean, god damn it. I shouldn't have said that. You know what I'm saying? That's none of my business. Anyway, I don't even mean to leave you with that, but hey, go ahead and stream some Sweetie. She need the points. Go ahead and stream some Sweetie. She needs the motherfucking points. She needs to spend. She needs to go on her distro kid and see a good check so she can get off the scroll. You know what I mean? Make rappers woke again. That's a new commit. That's a new movement. Make rappers woke again, man. Wake the fuck up. You know what I'm talking about? Wake up. Make rappers woke again.
Hey, yo, we got it going on. I'm hit up right on my wrong. Yo, we got it going on. It's for the culture. Yeah. Hey, yo, we got it going on. I bring my niggas together, we transform and become the Voltron. Yeah. We hit it right all our wrong. Hey, yo, we got it going on. Yeah. Went through the fire, but it lit up my fuse. I'm blowing up like a bomb. Introduce you to God. I'm teaching essentials, I'm operating at my peakest potential. Elijah, he told me to keep it all simple. Through these instrumentals, I speak to your mental. Red. Back in the booth, rap to the youth, they was lacking the truth. Back to the seas, they was lacking the roots. Smoked all the trees and they snacking on fruits. Bed, attached to my roof, detached to the roof on the back of the coupe. Back from the future, I'm back in the red and the blue, yeah, I'm back on my snoot. Niggas be biting, they cracking, they tracking, niggas be capping, they lacking it. Put a toe tag on the back of they boot. Battle with nukes, I'm attacking they troops. I wrote these bars in Sumerian text. The legends of Mu on the Marian sets. It was written in Targaryen text. Came to conquer all my variants. Yeah, we got it going on. I bring my niggas together, we transform and become the Voltron. Yeah. We hit it right all our wrong. Hey, yo, we got it going on. Yeah. Went through the fire, but it lit up my fuse. I'm blowing up like a bomb. Introduce you to God. Back on the mic, was dead on my back, now I'm back on my life. Came back from the future, went back to it twice. When I rose out the grave, they said that dude is Christ. I'ma shine like a star, I'ma twinkle, twinkle as I light up the sky. The whole world was watching on the night I arrived. The Messiah's here, I guess it's finally time. Swear that I hear every prayer that you say. I was there every day, I was still everything.
Chat, what the hell? Whenever they got a pillar at the Vatican. Pope Pablo, where you at?
You either fight or run. Life a game, I feel like I won. Hey, yo, we got it going on. I bring my niggas together, we transform and become the Voltron. We hit it right all our wrong. Hey, yo, we got it going on. Yeah. Went through the fire, but it lit up my fuse. I'm blowing up like a bomb. Introduce you to God.
From the quantum shadows, a traveler emerges. Fly Sinet, the multi-dimensional hacker, living his hero's journey. He joins the Pantheon at AI Masters Workshop, November 1st and 2nd, hosted by 363 Empire with Red Pillar and Seven Bomar. Tickets, lock yours in now.
This is the law of mental command. It is the understanding that you are not a victim of your thoughts, but a commander of them.